Yep, we are live yet again, and it's time to talk some boxing. You know, you guys that have been rocking with me a few years, you guys should know that I have a series called the Redemption List. So we got Mama Lou counterpunch to you, J, OK. Everything's good. The only way for Tank to redeem himself is to rematch Lamont Roach immediately and right his wrong by beating him convincingly, or getting him out of here. Yeah, that'll work. You know, this may very well be Javante Tank Davis's Juan Manuel Marquez. If you guys think about it, it may be that guy. It's just that guy with that style that pushes you to the limit, that knows you, that always forces you into a dirty fight or a challenging fight, and you can't look good doing it no matter how many times you fight him. In fact, you might get knocked out in the process, and that may be the case. All right? Did you fall asleep, Kurt? Yeah, actually I did, but it was supposed to be 11 o'clock. All right? Wasn't it supposed to be 11? Oh, it's supposed to be 10. I thought it was 11. My fault. My fault. Bill Keaveney in the building. Counterpunch to you. I'm like, hey, I'm right on time. No, you're an hour late. Ooh. Hey, it is what it is. Is this the biggest upset of the year so far? So far, yeah. So far it is. Absolutely. White chocolate almond. I'm trying one of these. See how it tastes. But yeah, this is the biggest upset of the year. I mean, it really is. Because Lamont Roach was not supposed to make it to the 12th, because this is Tank we're talking about. We're not talking about Shakur Stevenson. We're not talking about a fighter that we know, oh, it's another Shakur fight. Hey, well, you know, there's not going to be a knockout in this one. But then Shakur got the knockout. And I think, what, the ninth? And Tank did not. So it's almost like they switched. They switched on us, didn't they? So, boxing is getting strange, people. It's getting real strange. You know? Is Tank legit or overrated? I mean, you can look at someone with boxing ability and see that, what they can do. I mean, let's look at Mario Barrios for a minute. Mario's only loss was to Tank. The same Mario Barrios went to 147 and retired Yordenis Ugas. Now, say what you want about Ugas. You can call him old, which he was old. I mean, most of those Cuban fighters, they come over here and they want a better life. They getting better opportunities, and everything's new. New life, new opportunities, new age, because they can make it. If you come over here and you're 36, you're gonna put 27 on the birth certificate. That's what they do, type shit. You know? Kurt, we're in a recession. There is no money for pay-per-view. Let just wait for 2026. That's probably why he said that, you think, Jose? Larry Laird. I agree with you, Kurt. Tank needs to regain his focus and train like he used to. Tank is in Tank is the better fighter, but he wasn't ready. Well, there is no excuse for him not being ready because at least what you can do is be ready for whatever comes, because then you could say, well, hey, I was already ready. See, this makes it look more like a cherry pick, because if he wasn't ready for Lamont Roach, that tells us that he didn't intend on Lamont Roach being that tough, because they intentionally picked him to be a guy that wasn't that tough. He didn't supposed to be that way. He didn't supposed to have that type of ability. He was a cherry pick. All cherry picks are carefully hand selected. Trino Pacino. No, it's not like they switched. Come on, man. Oh my. His routine just didn't work with Roach. He had no plan B. Well, he fought harder, but he still was in a bad fight. Similar to Jaime Munguia, cherry picks sometimes don't go as planned. Because all it really means is giving someone that's little known an opportunity. So they are rather a blessing. Hello, my 20-year-old daughter. Okay. Kurt, do you believe the Paul versus Tank rumors? Uh-uh. I don't believe them at all. Where were they going to fight at? I mean, where would Tank where would Tank and Jake Paul fight? Tank weighing in at 227 pounds. And he's fighting somebody damn near 100 pounds smaller. Impossible. Jose Chavez. When I said where, I didn't mean the venue. I meant what weight. You look like Michael Jordan. Really? I don't see one thing that I look like Michael Jordan in. JJ Kabayo, this is a boxing channel. Yeah, he just trolling. And Mama Lou, you just doing your job. That's all. You remember the guy that told AJ when he got beat by a Usyk the second time? Let's keep it professional. I expect Tank to do a lot better in the rematch, most likely by KO. I think he underestimated Roach. Well, I think I think Tank needed this fight though. But Tank's too young to be retiring. So I'm glad that it happened. Fight more on the outside. Well, Tank can come in and come out, but fighting on the outside, I don't know. I don't know if that's the thing to do for him. I think Roach could be the one getting knocked out. No, getting the KO next time around. He didn't seem phased by Tank's power much. He will be more aggressive. Well, you got to be careful on that because neither did Leo Santa Cruz, and we all know what happened to Leo Santa Cruz. He got knocked out because he decided to just try to go head up with someone that was bigger than him. And regardless of what people like, Tank's a little guy. Tank has fought at 140 before. Don't let that fool you. He can retire like he can retire like how Mayweather retired after Oscar and then come back. Yeah, he can do that. Smooth Will, peace, brother Kurt. Been watching boxing my whole life. The Tank Roach rematch will be worse because Roach will have more confidence. This is just a bad matchup for Tank. Let's hope so. Because I think all of them should be beat that doesn't intend to be beat. Roach pulled a Holyfield and bullied the bully. He like Holyfield, Andre Ward. Yeah, those guys did that. Andre Ward had a good comeback story against Kovalev. I thought Kovalev beat Andre Ward the first fight, but now I look at it as a whole. I'm glad that they gave him the decision. You know why? Because people thought that, hey, Kovalev is the monster. He's killing. He killed a guy in the ring, and everybody started looking at him a lot differently. But you know, that being said, Andre Ward showed that, hey, you can't crumble me. You can't intimidate me. You can't do what you did to others with me. It's almost like what Bivol did almost. Heard the last interview with Dave Allen saying Usyk ain't a heavyweight yet. He beat Fury, my guy. AJ and Triple D, stupid comment to make. Well, I don't know. I think that's more of a British thing. I think that's a British camaraderie. Listen, if you know anything about Great Britain or British people overall, they have a strong sense of nationality, of pride, national pride for their fighters overall. They may bicker amongst each other, but yeah, when it comes to an outsider, they're going to pick their own. They're going to stick with their own, you know? So, and that's from someone that sparred Tyson and sparred Usyk. And I think that's wishful thinking. I think, that would be an ideal scenario for Danny Dubois. It would be a good story for him to come back. It would be a good time for him to show that, hey, this is what I can do after I take a loss. I can be redeemed, and I can avenge my loss, and I can become undisputed heavyweight champion. So I think everyone's riding on that because they know everything is on the line. Since they know everything is on the line, let's back our boy Daniel Dubois, that's 27 years of age. That can be, he can't necessarily be the next AJ, but what he could do is he could become the next undisputed British champion. When have we seen that? We haven't seen that since Lennox Lewis. So Dave Allen, I think, is inspired, is hopeful, is wishing for what he is preaching. Now, does he really believe that? Probably not, but then I don't know. Kurt, is Canelo more American or Mexican or Irish? I don't know, man. That's a good question. I mean, I think he has some Irish blood in him, bro. I mean, but it has to be like, it has to be like, like down the bloodline. Because if you look at it, you look at Canelo's mom, bro, is like really light skinned. She's very European-ish. You know what I mean? And a lot of people think that everybody in Mexico looks alike. That's fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? Just like everybody thinks everybody in Brazil looks alike. That's like saying, especially it's not like USA and Brazil. Those countries that like you have a variety of people that were there that settled there. Mexico, you have certain spots that are like that. And you also have certain spots that a lot of people do favor and they do look alike. But not everywhere in that country. The country of Mexico has people that are very fair skinned, and you could swear these motherfuckers are from Spain or Argentina. Because, I mean, it's very European ish. So Canelo comes from a family, at least on one side, that has that same look, that has that same background. His mom looks very European. So yes, somewhere down the line, from her side of the family, somebody was probably from Spain, and somebody on down the line, had relations with some redhead ginger uh, from Ireland, and out pops Canelo Alvarez. Boom, there you go. Is this one of those? Is this one of those transgenderids? Where my moderators at, bro? We like a lot of the. We're not screening these. Like get a lot of these people out of here. Canelo's mother looks like a BBC. What's a BBC advocate? What's a BBC advocate? I don't know what that is. The way Americans think Africa is a country. Jimberly Gritter. Canelo is white. Mexico has whites, blacks, Indians. Okay. Toxic gameplay. Nah, Pat Manuel ain't in this stream. T Posse until World War III. This means she played in the mud, if you know what I mean. Nah, I don't. You know what? I don't see a lot of her anymore. She used to show up at those fights and stuff, kissing cards. You remember Pacquiao's mom? You know what I mean? She used to be putting hexes on people or some shit. Bro, boxing is so lit this year. I mean, I think that Canelo fighting Crawford is going to be an eye opener. It sucks about Dillian White versus Joe Joyce. But then again, I think the worst thing about that fight was it didn't happen 2 years ago. So I think we should be mourning the fact that it didn't happen earlier. Now it's not happening at all, and I don't honestly think it's supposed to happen. They set up fights. Hold on a second. they always have, they set up the fights and fix them. It's too much money on the line. Yeah, I think, the mob did it first and they made things work in their favor to make massive amounts of money, but then it never stopped. Once they decided, hey, let's get officials in and let's do it right and legit, they started really thinking about how, the mob did it and then was like, you know what, we're going to adopt that whole process. We're going to adopt that mentality. Like, let's do and set shit up to make it look a certain way because I like that idea that they had. So they did. It's almost like taxes. You fight the Brits because you didn't want the British to embark taxes on your country, but then you beat them and then you do the exact same thing that they wanted to do anyway. Where the hell you think we get taxes from? We didn't make that shit up. It was already brought to us from the British. So. And then they decided, it's not a bad idea, you fucking idiots. You know? So, yeah, boxing did the same thing. You want to clean up the sport from the mob, so you get the mob out and you start doing exactly what the mob used to do. Crazy. Jerry already did, buddy. But as to fight Canelo the way Bivol fought, better BF, keep moving. Well, you can't let him get. Well, no one with sense will allow someone that's powerful like Canelo that can punch you and drop you with one shot. No one that is smart will allow anybody like Canelo to do that because all Canelo wants you to do. Canelo's a very powerful person. His punches are strong. He has strong He has strong punches, strong bones, very durable. Had no idea you were alive. Nah, they're not. Look, you can tell by the people here. It's only 33 people here, bro. So you can tell they're not like YouTube only gives you a certain amount of notifications. You find that out. Like if you wanted to go live, let's say you want to go live, and that's for anybody that wants to be a content creator. YouTube is one of the laziest notification senders. Then they do that because they're afraid that if, like a guy like me that does multiple videos a day, they don't send out notifications for all videos because they don't want the people subscribed to block all the notifications. So what they do, they allow a certain amount of notifications per 24-hour period. Kurt, you better than that. Building bulging eye showbiz. Wait, Kurt, you better than that. Bulging eye showbiz, the adult. I think the best example is when you are right. Ali fought Liston, who was controlled by the mob. I felt bad for Sonny Liston because I think Sonny Liston was killed. I think he was killed. I think Sonny Liston was murdered. And I think he was murdered because he didn't do what he was supposed to do at a particular time, so they killed him. And they set it up for him to take a heroin overdose because, before like crack, you know what I mean, fentanyl and all that shit, you had heroin. You didn't have crack back then. You didn't have that until the 80s, the early 80s. The early to the mid 80s came, and then by the late 80s, things were so bad as far as drugs, it was ridiculous. But before that, they had smack. So before crack, they had smack. And they set Sonny Liston up to take an overdose. He was a boxer. He wasn't even using. What boxer looks like being a heroin addict? That's crazy. I've never heard of one. Tony Lyons, he died in a hotel room, or was it his apartment, with a heroin needle in his arm. He wasn't a heroin addict. Someone set that up. Someone either tied him down, forced the drugs in him, and then that's what happened. Now, it's the 60s, bro, or was it the no, it was the late no, it was the early 70s. I think this was like 71, I want to say. I think it was 71, where they found Sonny Liston, pumped up full of smack. He was dead. Yeah, it was his apartment. Yo, what's good, G? Al University, counterpunch to you. It was 1970. Okay. Nah, you could odd off some good raw. Don't know what that means. January 1970. So, yep, early 70s. Sonny Liston was found in his apartment with a syringe in his arm. The man didn't do any of that, so crazy. Give him something to knock him out, then put needles in his arm. I don't see him letting nobody do that without a massive fight. Yeah, because it's like this. It's like, hey, you either gonna sit here and sit tight, or let me put this in your arm, or we're gonna shoot you in the face. They probably would have to shoot him in the face. So they probably had to hit him with something and then do that. But you have to think about it. This is 1970, okay? In 1970, you got a guy, an ex-con, that finds a needle in his arm. I don't think they're going to bring in the most stringent Joe Friday forensic team. They're not going to do that then. I don't even know if they had that then. They didn't start DNA samples until like the late 90s. If they would have had DNA samples in the early 90s, OJ's ass would have went to jail right then and there because it was DNA everywhere of him, all over the place. Why would they kill him? Ask Skip. Because he didn't do what he's supposed to do. Something he did or versus something he didn't do that caused him to be killed. And we didn't have all that DNA. We didn't. When you not a user, don't matter how big your body is, it doesn't take much to OD. Custard and chips, yeah, they knew that. And they pumped him full of dope and they killed him. And no one that was close to Sonny Liston knew that, anything about drugs. So that tells you he wasn't taking any. Somebody killed him. He wanted to get out of under them. He knew too much. It might have been a little bit of this and that. Sonny, all I can say about Sonny Liston, you poor bastard. Sonny Liston was a poor bastard. I'm going to tell you why. Sonny Liston's second fight with Muhammad Ali was horrible because he was between a rock and a hard place. Not only did he have to worry about the mob, he had to also worry about the Muslims. And when I mean the Muslims, I'm talking about the Nation of Islam Muslims. That was another big mob. They were a big organized group of people, militant, but they were violent as fuck. They were violent as shit. They had guns. They had license to carry the guns. They were by the book, but don't think they wouldn't use them, and don't think they didn't harass people. They harassed Malcolm X until they killed him. They shot him fucking 50 times or more. And then they harassed Sonny Liston before the fight. They say if you beat Muhammad Ali, you're one dead. You know what they said a lot of times back in the day. This is all documented. So this is not an alleged. No, this happened. The Muslims killed Sonny Liston. The Muslims killed Malcolm X. That was a Muslim. Facts. So Sonny was treated horrible by the public. People never gave him credit. Well, they didn't. And then here's the thing. The good guys didn't want him because he was an ex-con. They didn't want him because I don't think they felt they could trust him. So they didn't produce. They didn't endorse him. In fact, they banned him from fighting for a while until he just beat and knocked his way up to the title. He knocked out guys to get to the title. See, Pretty Boy Floyd Patterson back in those days, people, was the heavyweight champion of the world. He was looked at as like he was like the Pretty Boy Floyd Patterson. That's where Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather got his shit from. That's where he gets Pretty Boy from. Patterson. He ain't talking about his daddy's ugly ass. No. He's talking about Pretty Boy Floyd. Patterson. That was the first original Pretty Boy. Pretty Boy Floyd Patterson was the former heavyweight champion of the world. He was endorsed by some promoters, some upstanding promoters that protected him, that gave him a great signing bonus, that made sure, he was, that structured, ideal version of what they called a heavyweight. He had all of the outward personality and he fit the bill. Well, here's a big guy that was huge, knocking out people. That was the number one mandatory for the title. Remember, you only had one title back then, people. Not four, but one. That one title is what Pretty Boy Floyd Patterson had. And when Sonny got to that position, they tried to stop that from happening because they pretty much already knew the outcome. This convict, this criminal, this prisoner, right? This dude is going to destroy him. You see the size of that dude? You see him hitting that bag? We've seen him in there. When they seen Sonny Liston, bow, 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 making that bag go to and fro and to and fro, they put that bag in place of Pretty Boy Floyd Patterson, and they got scared. So they tried to stop it. They did for a while. They were successful for a minute, but they couldn't do it permanently because Sonny Liston wasn't going anywhere. The way he punched someone to the body, he knocked you and brought you down to your destruction. Sonny Liston is my favorite boxer of all. Tragic life and story. Yeah, he had a story, man. I mean, it's not all stories are happy ending. But the most important stories that you can get behind and admire and respect are the ones that are true. You know, Sonny Liston had a true story. He lived the life like he lived it. He didn't have a perfect life like most boxers didn't. You think Jack Johnson had a perfect life. You think Jack Dempsey had a perfect life. You think Rocky Marciano had a perfect life. He had an ideal life, a good family, structured life. I think Rocky Marciano was a good guy. I think Rocky Balboa took a lot of his aspect and a lot of the characteristics from Rocky Balboa. Not Chuck Webner, but Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa took it from Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano was that guy that you could sit down and talk to, and he wasn't a racist prick. He was a good overall American guy from Massachusetts. Okay, so that being said, Sonny Liston was unlike that. A lot of those guys came from tough environments. So, Pretty Boy Floyd was a 1920s gangster. He was. He was a 1920s gangster. He was that. But as far as boxing goes, Pretty Boy Floyd came from Pretty Boy Floyd Patterson. Funny, Sonny took on and beat the ones that Floyd avoided. To be honest, Floyd Patterson was one of the weakest heavyweight champions ever. Yeah, he wasn't the best. I mean, everyone waxed him. Igor Johansson, when Muhammad Ali came around, Muhammad Ali just played with Floyd. You know what I mean? He beat the shit out of Floyd Patterson. I mean, guys like that. No, he wasn't like the best. He wasn't, no. He was one of those, if you think about it, after Joe Louis, he was one of those guys that they pretty much wanted to make him a carbon copy of Joe Louis. The only difference was he wasn't as good as Joe. He wasn't on the same level skill set wise as Joe. Joe Louis was a bad mother sucker. You know what I mean? And see, the ideal heavyweight then was 6'2", 6'3" at the most. Primo Carnera was exceptionally big to be a heavyweight. But, the ideal is 6'2", 6'3". Joe Louis had a 4-inch punch. He could catch you with those short shots and take you out. Pretty Boy Floyd wasn't that, he wasn't that good like that, you know? I have always thought Joe Louis is the greatest of all time. He accomplished more than any other heavyweight and helped a bigger social impact during his prime than Ali did. People forget how popular he was. Ask Skip, I think that I've always said that. I've always thought that Joe Louis was with 23 title defenses. Joe Louis Barrow was probably the best fighter of all time. Fun fact: Joe Louis and Jack Johnson. Those were the two. Yeah, the first was, of course, Jack Johnson, as far as the first African American heavyweights. Now, keep in mind, people, just because he was the first African American heavyweight champion doesn't mean he was the first African American heavyweight contender. See, back then, there were a lot of fighters better than Jack Johnson that were black. It's just they never got the opportunity to show it because they didn't put those guys in, and there's a reason for that. You were so racist back then, to the point where if you got one of those guys that they knew that were better than guys like Jack Johnson, Jack didn't fight a lot of those guys. So there you go. But no, but what happened when he did? They couldn't have it in the States. They had it all the way in Sydney, Australia. And when they found out that that went the way they didn't want it to go, these sons of bitches started rioting. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And Joe Louis, when he came along, they wanted to do everything contrary to that. You're not going to date white women. You're not going to drive across country with white women in fast, ungoverned cars that went over 100 miles an hour. You're not going to do that. You're not going to flaunt. You're not going to be arrogant. You're not going to be boastful. You're not going to, you're not going to be that guy that's outspoken. You're going to be soft. You're going to be cool. You're going to be humble. You're going to be quiet. You're going to be respectful. That's exactly what Joe Louis was. In fact, Joe Louis was the everything opposite of Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was a chocolate, dark mocha complected, warmer complected guy. Joe Louis wasn't. He was fair. He was light skinned. You know what I mean? He was nothing like Joe Louis. Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson and Joe Louis were just polar opposites. But it was like that for a reason. Okay? They did not want him to. They wanted people, America, to embrace the American champion. So that was America, was built on tough people. Hi, everyone from London, UK. Daryl Masters in the building. Problem most empire get lazy and eventually crumble. Joe Louis is the greatest heavyweight of all time. He'd knock you out smooth. Kurt, you're speaking the truth. Match that. Hey, I try. Rocky Marciano and Marvin Hagler, both from Brockton, Massachusetts. Yep. Floyd was most about hand speed, but skill-wise, not super impressive. Okay. Kurt, Muhammad Ali versus Jersey Joe Walcott would be a good match. No, I don't think it would. Jersey Joe was okay, but Jersey Joe, I think, beat Joe Louis the first fight, but the second fight, Joe Louis knocked him out. People say Jack Johnson was the first black champion, but there was black champions, I think, 7 years before him. Not a heavyweight, and I don't remember his name. Sad, the first black champion is forgotten. I know Muhammad Ali calls himself the greatest of all time for many reasons, but let's be honest. Joe Louis was the best heavyweight of all time, hands down. I think people need to understand this about Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali marketed that as the greatest of all time. I think he did that, and I think he did that based on, sure, his ability, but the greatest of all time, the GOAT. He created that. It didn't mean that he was the greatest of all time. It meant he wanted people to acknowledge him of being the greatest of all time. I'm king of the world. I'm pretty. I'm a bad man. I am the devil. He said all those things. He did. Muhammad Ali did. He said every one of those things. I know Muhammad Ali, see, I think the same way Muhammad Ali got people to say, hey, I'm the greatest of all time, the GOAT. Okay, it's the same way Floyd ripped that off of Muhammad Ali saying, okay, I want people to call me TBE, the best ever. That's why where he get the shit from. He wanted people to acknowledge him as the greatest of all time. You think of Muhammad Ali because nobody has said I'm the greatest of all time except for Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? So the best ever TBE hashtag TNT right TMT the money team. I'm pretty and I'm a bad man was a classic. Absolutely. Kurt Muhammad Ali has a southpaw heavyweight boxer would be a nightmare. Say it enough and people believe it. Absolutely. I shook up the world. Ali was the truth. Yeah, Muhammad Ali. Forgetting race, creed, religion, we should just acknowledge great skill when it comes in our generation who still doesn't love a Bruce Lee movie. You know, that's true. And speaking of Bruce Lee was a guy that preached and taught that. He lived that. He paid for that. He fought for that. I don't know if he necessarily died for that, but he was definitely a guy that taught people his Chinese martial art. He taught people Wing Chun. And when he was making his own art, he taught those same people that were non-Chinese that as well. So, Jack Johnson was the first black champion in 1908. Dubois has already redeemed himself. No, he has not. And the irony of that? He hasn't redeemed himself yet. I'm going to tell you why. He hasn't fought any of the guys that beat him. The only saving grace for him fighting Alexander would be being able to overcome, being able to persevere, and being able to beat Alexander. Because Alexander made him quit. Think about that. See, I'm going to tell you how less important Danny Dubois was. You want to hear it? Sure. Danny Dubois, when he got beat by Usyk, people bitched and pissed and moaned about the blow. Oh, it was legal. I don't think it was legal at all. But regardless of what I think, the referee thought it was a foul. So therefore, it was a foul. Did it really hurt Usyk? Yes, I think it really hurt Usyk. I think people equate that, well, if it was or if it wasn't ruled a foul, Usyk would have lost. Okay, we say all that shit like this is a comic book, but honestly, it's not. It was already ruled a foul. But it didn't matter. When Danny Dubois quit, when he took a knee, from that bullshit he does, like he's just like something happened to him. When he quit, nobody gave a shit. Nobody expected him then. Hey man, Danny Dubois got to go back and right that wrong. Danny Dubois got to do this, and nobody cared. Everybody wrote Danny Dubois off like a bad check. They did. That's why people thought Jarrell Miller was going to beat him up. He was too fat, and I don't even know if he was skilled enough to do that. Bars, but right. He went on to beat Jarrell, he went on to beat Hrgovic, and he went on to knock out AJ. Now everyone says he's arrived and he's back. No, he's not. None of those guys fights like that. I would have gave him a pass if he would have fought Joseph's ass, but he didn't. He didn't fight Parker. Parker was a guy that could actually fight, move, box, experience. He got the whole package. You know what I'm saying? And then the thing is, could Danny Dubois do? Because see, bro, he hasn't fought anyone with that type or level of boxing ability since then. That's why he's on the redemption list. He has to redeem himself. Daniel has to redeem himself. Everybody's talking about that AJ fight. Yes, AJ was popular, but AJ's old. AJ, I think, was forced into shit because if you know what happened when Alexander Usyk beat AJ, people expected him to rematch him, didn't they not? And if he didn't, they would have looked at him crazy. Nobody said shit when Danny Dubois quit. I'm going to say that again. Nobody said shit when Danny Dubois quit. Period. Nobody said anything. Nobody cared. You know, Triple Knee needs to fight Parker. Kurt, I believe it was George Dixon who was the first black glove champion in 1901. Okay. Shout out to George Dixon. The three Jackie Chan movies, The Big Brawl, Meals on Wheels, and World of the Drunken Master. Meals on Wheels is probably the best ever. Meals on Wheels is the best with Benny the Jet Urquidez. Those fight scenes were amazing. Okay, but back to boxing. Nobody cared if Danny Dubois got his revenge at that time. Nobody cared because the pressure was never on Dubois. You know what I mean? People expected more from AJ because more people followed AJ than Dubois. Have you ever heard of Tom Molyneux? Molyneux? He was the first black heavyweight champ, bare knuckles, I believe. Bare knuckles is brutal, bro. That's some brutal shit. Bare knuckle fighting is brutal. Love from Lagos, Nigeria. AJ doesn't like pressure fighters. He will always lose to one. Counterpunch. Dale Osho, counterpunch to you. Unless he knocks him out. Now everyone's saying, "Oh, he's redeemed himself." No, he hasn't. He's redeemable when he beats someone that beat him. The pressure is on Triple D because sure IBF is gonna be having words about mandatories or strip. Well, I mean that's everyone. What I'm saying is nobody cared about Danny Dubois coming back based on the basis of how he quit. That's a quitter. He quit. I don't care if his eye was broke. He didn't know it was broke at the time. He quit. See, regardless of the fact, do you guys know what quitting means? I think we fail to understand. I think people omit someone that quit as long as they had a reasonable reason to quit so they won't be called a quitter. No, they're a quitter anyway. Did Muhammad Ali quit because his jaw was broken against Ken Norton? No, he didn't. AJ quit against Ruiz. No, AJ couldn't have quit against Ruiz if he would have stayed down on the ground. If he would have allowed him to count out, that's a quit. Just like Danny Dubois, he stayed his ass on the ground, prone, in the prone position, just like what's his name? What's the little racist kid's name from California? Ryan Garcia. He would have did what Ryan Garcia did. I think Triple D would KO Usyk, so I want to see Usyk rematch. I mean, if he does, he does. Look at the state of Froch's nose through his career. Suck air through your mouth and punch on. Daryl, I'm with you. He still quit though. How you doing, Mr. Kurt? I like your show. Awesome. You're one of the best. What's your take on Javante Davis and Lamont fight? Tank lost. Tank lost, regardless of why. Tank took a knee. He took a knee. It was counted. It was not counted, though. He got knocked down, and the knockdown didn't count. In what world does that happen? In what world does that happen? You ask yourself that question. Guys, if someone goes down and the referee's counting, in what world don't they take the point or give the extra point or take the extra point away from the fighter that got knocked down? In what world do they do that? You know, the only way that would work or the only way that the scorecards will look the same as though as it would before, as someone would have the guy that knocked the other fighter down would have got a point deducted. That's the only exception to the rule. Like Roach knocked him down, and then Roach did something that caused the ref to take a point from him. That would be the only reason. Jerry Curl juice got in his eye. Well, yeah, that's kind of dumb because he'd had to have Jerry Curl juice. Kurt, do you think Connor wins Eubank? I don't know. I think that's going to be a very interesting fight. I just hate to be the loser. Who wants to lose that fight? Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. Who wants to lose that? Because this is not just. I mean, here's the thing. This fight should not be a one fight, one hit or quitter deal, because it's dealing with someone or two other people that started this shit in their families. This is a family feud. This is a lot more than just these two guys, even though they don't like each other. But then here's the thing. If they didn't have anything to do, if their fathers weren't who their fathers were, they won't, then they would never feel the way they feel about each other now. So this started way before they came around. That being said, they're picking up a legacy of hate, a legacy of competition. So these guys are just pretty much doing what their fathers did. So that being said, though this can't be just one fight. Kurt, do you think Jai Opetaia will do? Kurt, do you think Jai Opetaia will do well at heavyweight? Yeah, I think he can. I think it's who he fights. I mean, everyone that I see Jai would fight, an exception of some older cats, like who would Jai Opetaia fight at heavyweight? Who would he fight at heavyweight? Everyone I see him fighting would be a problem, you know. Corner will fail due to too much anger and swinging wild early rounds, gas himself out. I think Tank Davis has no ambition to become a great before this loss. Don't think it'll change now. Ryan Watterson, I'll say this. To redeem himself against someone that they cherry picked, okay, yeah, he would have to do that, but think about this. If it's all about him redeeming himself about a cherry pick, there won't be any other aspirations anyway. Because now his job is not to even think about people that he should have fought. His obligation is to think about the fighter that beat him. He know that guy beat him. Tank knows that that dude beat him. Dubois has redeemed and could ultimately redeem himself if he becomes undisputed. Okay. If you say so. If he gets his ass whooped the same way, what are you going to say about Daniel Dubois? I'm going to tell you what I'm going to say. I told you so. He didn't redeem himself. He just fought different styles. Guys that are more flat-footed, guys that are less elusive, guys that just come forward. And every one of those dudes represented that style. AJ, Phillip, and Big Ass Jarrell. All alike. They all came to him. They all gave him exactly what he wanted. Nothing too hard to figure out. No fighter too complex or difficult or move too much to make you think too much. None of that. It's seek and destroy. Daniel, go get him. That he reached his limit. He can't beat that style for sure. Yeah, that's all. Just like I don't think Canelo can beat a boxer. He cannot beat. If Terrence Crawford beats him, that would be no different than Alexander Usyk beating Daniel Dubois again. It'll let you know. Because, hey, guess what? Joseph Parker, they screwed him over because they knew maybe he can do it. But, hey, would you rather lose by Usyk again, like Tyson, like AJ, or would you rather lose by Joseph Parker? I think Usyk. You better take the latter. Why? Because if he gets beat to Joseph Parker, that's somebody else that beat his ass. Now it's Joyce, then it's Alexander Usyk, then damn near Kevin Ladena, but now it is who? Joseph Parker. So you're not elite to say the least. You are like maybe fourth or fifth on that totem pole. Okay? So they thought about it like, well, who would you prefer Daniel to get beat by if he was actually going to lose? That's how you look at a fight and a fighter and the outcome. What would you do? What exactly would you do? Arizism in the building. I think Jai Apataya would do well at heavyweight. The biggest reasons why Usyk was able because his footwork defense. Jai hasn't showed great footwork or defense. He also doesn't have the ring IQ. Somebody's gonna hurt Jai Apataya because I'm trying to think right now in the behind as I'm explaining another thought process is taking place. I'm trying to see who the hell would Jai Apataya fight. Ryan Garcia is the most popular American boxer. He will. Terrence Crawford, yeah. He'll be in the Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Famer anyway. Do you think, okay, Kurt Frank Sanchez versus Daniel Dubois would be interesting. And then the thing is, who said he can beat down? I mean, he could probably overpower. What I don't like about Frank stays on the ropes too long at times. That's how I think he lost to I get Kabayo. I think he stayed on the ropes, and when you stay on the ropes, and he has this. I call it the Danny Jacobs syndrome. Where he kind of sits there and he's like a deer in the headlights. That's at his most vulnerable part. Moses will be fast, tact, and lose. Kurt, what about Jai Pataya versus I get Kabayo? That's something I don't want to see Jai Pataya go through. Because see, one thing we learned about I get Kabayo can take a shot. You think Jai's punches are going to keep Caballo back from throwing all those damn punches to the body and breaking this kid down? He may be able to move, but for how long? Until those punches catch up with him. Enough air out of those tires have been, taken. Therefore, guess what? Boom shakalaka. There you go. Can't always fight off the ropes, bounce into punches. You can't. Canelo got outboxed by Floyd. Bibble should have lost to Triple G. And Lara couldn't hurt Danny Jacobs. Didn't KO John Ryder in Mexico. Canelo was never this killer. Well, we're going to find out, won't we? And so if he gets beat by Terrence Crawford, all I could say is they better not rob Terrence if Terrence goes 12 rounds with him and outpoints him, shows moments, shows durability, shows grit, shows heart, shows that he's driven and that he can outpoint or outwork Canelo. And I think if they rob him, that would be bad. But then here's the thing. I think those guys are old enough. Canelo's done enough in the sport. So is Terrence Crawford. I think they've done enough to cancel each other out. So if Terrence does beat him, or Terrence gives him a hard enough fight for it to be a rematch, and that will surprise the shit out of everybody, and they end up fighting again, whatever the outcome will be, I think those guys will go down in history. Okay, that's your final and last dancing partner. So you guys take all these millions right off in the sunset with your incredible records and your incredible career and your incredible fight purses. And I think that should be it. The end. Terrence Crawford's older anyway, so he should retire. And Canelo Alvarez doesn't need the money. He just likes the idea. Lee Foster, everything's good, man. I've just been having this headache, and I think what it is, I think my equilibrium's off a bit, maybe. Canelo is going to KO that ninja. Okay? So I think that's what I think that's what this is about. I think if Terrence can do that to Canelo, that's what Canelo's kryptonite is. That's it. So those are two redeemed. Who else is on there? Um, Zhilie Zhang. Can Zhilie Zhang be redeemed? Do you guys think so? Um, okay. I always knew Zhang is a 6 round fighter, still dangerous. Yeah, he's still dangerous for 6 rounds. That's exactly when he went out. He ran out of gas in 6 rounds because I get Kabayo, 32 years of age, made him work everything or outdo or made him overwork himself to the point where he wasn't accustomed to. Zhilie Zhang is out. He's a kind of a plotting fighter where he's just used to, you know what I mean? He's used to counters and he's a good counterer, but he doesn't do that. He fights in spots for reasons. He lacks everything like that. Zhang had a 2 fight prime. I think he beats some good guys, but he is not becoming a champion. Okay. Zhang needs to work his way up first, but he should be smart enough to at least do better. Kurt, Zhilie Zhang can come back. He will be all right. Okay. Zhang Klitschko. Once I got up, Zhang was done. Um, I keep telling people that was a balance shot. He knocked him off balance. I mean, yeah, he felt the shot, but I think he felt all of the punches that Zhang had. It's just the thing about a get now, which worries me. He can take those punches now. The question is, he took the punches. He ate those shits from Zhilie Zhang, and Zhilie Zhang knocked out Joyce, bro. I mean, he's sick, bah, you know, and it's just crazy, White Shark, bow. Big Bang was gassing out in round 3 because he was being overworked. Because look, I get Kabayo wasted no time. On top of Zhilie Zhang came out a lot faster. I just saw that fight before I went. I took a nap. He came out faster. He came out faster. And you seen Zhang. You just bat, 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 bat. He went to the body, straight down to the body. He started throwing these body punches. And he started putting it on Zhang. I mean, Aget. And what he did with Aget Kabayo, he wanted to check Aget Kabayo's chin early, and the shit checked out. So when he did do that, it was like, oh my goodness, what is this shit about? What is this about, really? Because now Aget showed I can take your shots. So how hard can Zhilie Zhang actually hit? Because if he's one of those heavy, heavy, heavy-handed people, right? Because now people should look. Now people will probably look at Wilder. I know Wilder was done. He caught Wilder perfectly. I think he caught him on the nose, I believe, or like right at the tip of the chin. He caught him in a perfect spot, bro. Oh, Zhang Bakali like that shot. Oh, Zhang Bakali like that shot. Joyce is starting to sound punch drunk. Yeah, he's been sounding like that for a while. Poor bastard. He's slow. And the thing that helped him, he was durable. But yeah, he's looking like Joe's looking real bummish. Hergovic should retire. He is not built like fighting any guy with power will split his skin. Hergovic. Kabayo is dangerous, tough guy. Hey, Kurt, David Mick, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. And listen, yeah, but if he can take those shots, man, that's bad. He's gonna keep doing that. He's gonna keep walking through you. And I'm gonna tell you, Tyson swerved that fight. I'm glad he didn't fight against Kabayo, because if he would have fought against Kabayo, we would have saw something that we didn't think we were supposed to see. And that being said, you got to remember this is the Tyson Fury that fought Wilder that adopted the crunk style with Sugar Hill Stewart. So he beat Wilder in 2020 in February. Then he's supposed to fight against Kabayo, I think it was in December. Bro, if you'd have fought him in December, Aget Kabayo would have whooped his ass, and then we would have been looking like, oh my God, who is this Aget Kabayo dude? Cherry pick gone wrong. Wouldn't we have, wouldn't we not? We would have been saying the same shit. Oh man, see, he picked Aget Kabayo, another undefeated fighter, like out of Wyland. But this time, he got his number because that dude started going to Tyson Fury's body. Tyson kept grabbing, and that dude kept punching Tyson and jacking Tyson up. And then next thing you know, Tyson, got knocked out. So there you go. Daryl Master, salute, thanks. White and Joyce should quit. They have made some money by now. Hopefully, Bill. I think Dillian White's fine, though. But I also do think that Dillian White, like, Dillian, man, leave it up. Those are just signs. Message. I mean, yeah, it's just the signs are on the wall, bro. Just give it up. Kurt, it's funny how Tank and Terrence Crawford, two of the faces of boxing, never do commercials. Yeah. Kurt, Philip Hergovic versus Aget Kabayo. I'm going with Aget Kabayo, bro. I think he breaks him down. I think he stops Hergovic. Probably it'll take him longer to stop Hergovic because Hergovic's younger. Good reach, good speed. But I think eventually he gets him too. I think he stops him just like he stopped Zhilie Zhang, just like he stopped Frank Sanchez, just like he stopped fucking Mark Madoff. He breaks him down and he just punches the shit out of you, takes whatever you have, boxes you, go head, body, head, Mickey, head, body, head, until you are not around no more. Until you take a knee or he knocks you out. He will stop you and he will catch you eventually because he starts investing in that body early. So that's going to slow you down anyway. He's putting that slow venom in you with those body shots to the midsection, to the solar plexus until he gets you slow. Then he'll have you grabbing on him because you're trying to stop him from punching the shit out of your midsection. That's what happens when Aget Kabayo gets started. The only thing is you better knock his ass out. So you better believe in your power to set up some huge shots to knock that boy out. Because if you don't, that locomotive engine's going to start and it ain't going to stop until you're on the ground. It ain't going to stop until you stop. Zang versus Bacoli would be good. I would love to see the fight, and I think winner takes all. Winner takes the next step into the Turkey Al-Sheikh Sweepstakes Championship showdown. Hergovic wouldn't have the power to concern Kabayo. I don't think he would either, but guess what? I would still want to see it. Kabayo's style could deal with Usyk. It could probably deal with Usyk. But you know what? We'll really know if Usyk can take body punches or not. I think he can, but what kind and how many? Dude, bro, Kabayo will give Usyk fits because Kabayo would then be after Usyk and be throwing shots to Usyk. Usyk will have counter punching opportunities, but he would have to do that all night. So you got two guys with two good gas tanks, and they will go toe to toe. That would be a very good fight. Very, very, very good fight. If AJ comes back, who should he fight? Daniel Dubois. Really, though, AJ should fight. You got a lot of guys he could fight. Shit. Fight Jarrell Miller. Fight Michael Hunter. Fight Joe Joyce. Shit, Joe Joyce needs a fight. Fight Joe Joyce. Usyk knows his days are numbered. He won't be champion in a couple years. Well, he only has 2 fights left, and that's 2 fights per year. So, yeah, you shouldn't see him around based on what he said. Yeah, you got Parker, you got Zang, you got a lot of fighters that he could fight right now. Right now, he could take on Mark Madoff, you know. But yeah, I think all these guys need redemption, and I explain why. Zhilie Zhang needs to show people that he's still there, and he's old. So I don't know if he'll get the opportunity. Javante Tank Davis, I think he needs to right his wrong first, but I do think he needs to fight people that actually get him up instead of the people that get him paid. Okay? Danny Dubois needs to fight Parker to show people that he didn't duck Parker. And I have some Patreon stuff coming, man, and some stuff that is mind blowing, bro. So guys, I'll do that later on today. But right now, I got a headache, so guys, send me some encouragement, some hopes, and some prayers and some wishes because I don't know. I think I got maybe an ear infection, maybe got a headache. I don't know. It's sad to see Fury ducking AJ forever. Well, whatever. He's retired, so I'm not going to talk about Tyson Fury. I'm not going to talk about fighters that are retired. So, unless he just starts talking about what he would do, because that's normally what Tyson did. Retire and talk about how good he is. Appreciate you, Mama Lou, Bill Keaveney. Thank you, thank you. Go get some rest, mate. Daryl Masters, Lee Foster, Fury, BAJ has lost its appeal. Yeah. Quan Big Guns. Hope you get wetter. Jackman Pennant. Oscar Henao. Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the encouraging words. But yeah, man, it's been weird, man. I'll take a BC or something, and then it's like I feel kind of, I don't know what it is. Kind of like I kind of feel dizzy, and it's like, well, shit, I haven't been drinking or nothing like that, so I don't really know what's happening. So if you guys see me in the ER, well, damn, Kurt did say he wasn't feeling too good. You know what I mean? So, but I hope I feel better. I'm gonna, I'm going to, yeah, I'm gonna check out my doc. So see what he says. Kurt, I was looking on YouTube, and it was a segment with Javante Davis's hairdresser that said she's going to set the record straight. She already did. I did a video on it yesterday. Now, a lot of people, bro, they don't like, you don't throw people under the bus that help you. Just like those, you remember those 2 guys that did Deontay Wilder's outfit? And they were like, no, it wasn't heavy at all. What the hell is he talking about? When he got whooped, he started coming with those bitch excuses. Yeah, nobody don't want to hear that. You don't want to throw nobody under the bus. Drink some tea. Yeah, I'll try to drink some tea, man. Cut down on fatty foods. Yeah, bro. What I did, man, I ate a steak and eggs today. That's it. And start doing cardio. It's great for your cardiovascular system. Yeah, I'll probably hit the treadmill, man. Do like an hour on the treadmill. Just, wing it out. It's supposed to be a travel day, too. So, shit, I'll wait till tomorrow. But I'm laying down now, bro. So, could be hydration. It's starting to get warm. Yeah, I was thinking about the pollen, too. Maybe it's the pollen, because here they got cedar pollen. So yeah, that's what I'm drinking, man. I'm drinking water, and more water. Could be you're starting to get warm, the flu. Yeah. I wish it was the flu. I think, dude, having a flu is kind of fun to me. Shit like that. Let me tell you guys some weird shit. Like, I enjoy being sick naturally. Like, if it's, because you can just, all you're doing is, hey, let me take a time off, let me chill, let me watch some boxing. I can still go live, hang out with you guys and stuff like that. So it's not a bad thing, and like when I had COVID was like humbling, bro. I mean, the first time I caught COVID. COVID was humbling because COVID was like, okay, you know, a lot of other people are having it. I was quarantined. I had another channel that back then, so I did all the COVID stuff on that channel. And then back then they demonetized you from talking about COVID. So it was weird. Get some fresh air. That's a good idea. I hate that the flu, but I like having fever. I like having fevers, just lay in bed all day sleeping. Yeah, it's cool. It's relaxing. You don't have like you're sick, so people don't expect a lot from you, especially a guy that doesn't really work like that. I work when I get work. Black Panther stuff like that, like whatever. So you know, but yeah, man, I'm gonna lay down, probably play some Call of Duty, chill up, chill out, drink some more agua, I'll probably do a video, knowing me, if something pops through my radar that I think that you guys need to see. So stay tuned for that. God bless you guys. Be good. Enjoy your Tuesday. And everybody has been counterpunched. I will be going live, and I'm going to do 4 or 5 lives a week. Dead ass. So that's my credo. So you guys are going to hear the live. So I want to set a good time, maybe about 12 or 1. So anyway, we'll do more lives to come. So so get accustomed to that, and I'll see you guys then. Peace.